Hello and welcome to season 3 of Home Cockpit Reviews, where I take a look at your home cockpits to see what kind of equipment are you playing with out there. And before we dive into the first cockpit, I just want to say that you are more than welcome to send in your own home cockpit. It doesn't matter if it's a multi-$1,000 setup that you've spent years and years on building that's completely over the top, or if you've just done something unique, if you're working in a tiny space and somehow made a cool setup with a minimal amount of space on a budget. It doesn't matter. I love to see all of them. A lot of you guys out there use these for inspiration, so send in whatever you got, and if you're lucky, you might get featured in a future episode. And we're gonna kick this season off with a cockpit here from a Commander Loom the Invader, which is one of those DIYs where people have been a little creative. I kind of like that. We can see the cockpit out here on the side, or what the commander here calls the flight deck, which kind of makes a lot more sense. We can see we have a Logitech X56 here with the included throttle over there. A bunch of I like that. There is basically everywhere there is labeled everything on it, even on the joystick, on the side of the joystick. We also have a tablet up here running GameGlass, so we can control that up there as well. Okay, so here we see it in action. It's clearly a later picture. It's had a coat of paint, it seems. At least it's changed its color since the other picture. But yeah, we can see definitely it is Elite inspired. We have fighter orders, target at will, recall, hold, follow, all the fighter orders. Not sure what those are for. We have ECM heat sinks, chaff launchers. We have a big red button for deploying a hard point. That should be jump in my mind, but yeah, okay. All kinds of targeting here. We have lights, FSS, all the stuff, target ahead, previous next target, subsystem targeting. We have maps and system maps controlled over here. Jumping is here. That's an odd place. I don't know, missed opportunity. Missed opportunity with that big red button. But that's just me. And we still see GameGlass running up here on the integrated tablet. But hold on, look at that little detail there. They've taken the blueprint of a Crate Mark II and printed those out. They kind of integrate. That's pretty cool. That's a nice little detail. And then a microphone there, which is for voice attack. Looks like this is because there's these things here, and there's some similar things here. Looks like those there kind of hooks into it here. And I'm interested how this actually goes on the chair. Okay, we have a better look of it here. Again, bunch of pictures. Not sure if we're going to be able to go through all of them, but we have a bunch of pictures here. So the kind of hook system here that looks like they hook into something there. Yeah, we can see this the chair mounted. And then everything runs in these like an umbilical cord back here on the back side. Yeah. So now you can see all the cables are sleeved together. So you have these two are probably for the hotas, and that one there is likely for whatever. I think it's an Arduino running all these buttons underneath, and probably one for the microphone, I would guess. Not sure about power for the tablet. I would put some kind of power source in there for that. Again, these are earlier pictures. This was labeled the version 1. There we can see the umbilical cord kind of running up to the computer there. Okay, maybe in this one there's a folder here just called Progress. So this is basically the building of it. So you can see the base is being built, tablet goes in. The deck is slowly being built up. And buttons are slowly getting put in place. I'm just scrubbing through the pictures here. Here we get an internal view of some of the guts. We can see all the little cables going into some kind of controller board. Again, I'm not an electrical engineer. Maybe someone who is an electrical engineer will get something useful out of this. USB-B. Okay, so this is this one, right? Because that looks like a USB-B port. That's a very unique system. We've seen similar systems before, but I've never seen anyone go to like this length of installing tablets and everything, and it just like hooks onto the chair. It's quite a unique solution. Really happy you sent that in. Thanks a lot, and I hope you guys out there also enjoyed having a look at that. This next one here comes to us from a unnamed, not even a commander actually. Maybe it's a commander as well. I can't tell, but I don't have any in-game names, so we're gonna go with Howard. So this is a Howard's cockpit, and this is something as unique as a Kerbal Space Program designed cockpit. We always see people designing either like general purpose, or maybe they're tailored towards elite, or they're tailored towards Star Citizen. Sometimes people also do stuff for like flying helicopters or planes. But I think this is the first one I see someone build something specifically for KSP. We see a numpad here that's been customized with all the buttons you need. Thrusters to max, plus minus thrusting, cut the thruster completely, rolling left and right, RCS, SAS control. And I actually think there was another picture where there's also a Steam Deck. Yeah, there we go. With everything like aligning retrograde or prograde, or aligning along the side axis. A lot more control, like speeding up, slowing down, time, acceleration, all that good stuff has been put in there. Now, I want to comment on the joysticks. I've been glancing over those so far. Those are, as many of you know, Atari joysticks. And our commander here, our pilot here, actually comments on the choice of joystick here. Because when we are flying space sims, like Elite or Star Citizen, or if you're flying flight sims, you often want to input multiple control surfaces at the same time. So it's not uncommon that you would want to do a roll and a pitch to go around a turn. That is a very common maneuver in something like Space Sim. Whereas in stuff like Kerbal, where it is much more about precisely aligning up with specific nodes, you will much more have a tendency to just move one axis at a time, which is of course also why we saw that they were actually put onto just separate buttons. And I can see how that would work, having a smaller joystick where you have where you don't need those multi-axis controls that you then shrink it down to take up less space. Actually, quite a unique situation, and a very, I think, clever solution to a very specific problem. Thanks a lot for sending that in, and if there's any would-be Kerbal pilots out there, then maybe there's some inspiration here for you. Okay, we have another what looks like a living room setup. We've seen these before where people play in the living room, so they need something that they can very quickly just put away, put in a closet somewhere so they're out of sight when they're not using it, but then you don't want to spend half an hour setting a complex system up. This is one of those. We can see a thrustmaster, joystick, and throttle. We have the laptop here. I'm going to assume that this is the laptop that's also powering the game. I don't know that for certain, but I think it is. We see one tablet out here running GameGlass, and a tablet over here. I think it's also a tablet that runs third-party tools, and it looks like, is that ED Discovery running here on the main screen, within a projector up here on the wall for the actual game. So here's what I'm talking about. You can see all these are hard mounted, they're screwed in, so that means these are permanent. You can do them with a screwdriver, but they are relatively permanent mounted to a board. Same with the laptop. It looks like the laptop has some kind of, at least there's something there around the laptop. I don't know if it sits in something or if it's just a plate that is on or something like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if those tablets also permanently mounted, or at least hard mounted, to that board as well, so that the whole thing is just a combined package. Kind of looks like the laptop would be difficult to close with the tablets going in. So I'm not sure what they do there, if the computer is actually also a integrated part of this and they just never actually shut down the lid on it and just put it aside when they don't need it. That could be what's going on here, and it might explain that edge around it. Very compact setup. It's not too wide. Sometimes we see these like lab cockpits, or whatever you want to call it, lab boards. They have a tendency to get very wide because people try to cram a lot of things on it. Here, quite narrow, would be easy to put away, I would say, especially if you can actually move the laptop out and maybe fold the tablets away. I don't know. Can't see the backside of it, so we don't know how that works. But again, this could be a very compact setup. So those were the ones I brought for you today, but do stay tuned to the channel because in the next one I have a ultra clean setup. Like, I've seen clean setups. This one is by far the cleanest I've seen. If you want to see that, stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Also next time, I'll see you guys in space.